60 minutes of live side split stretching. At one point, this show did start at a much sort of friendlier amount of time, and over time, it's just gotten longer and longer and longer. And I really should just say 60 minutes, but 60 minutes feels like a long time, and I don't want people to leave before they've, you know, settled in, tried a little bit, and dilemma. I just need to talk even faster. All right, D, welcome back. All right, let's do this. Ugh, enough rambling. What do I need? I'm gonna need this stool in a little bit, so I'm gonna just grab this and pull that over. I'm gonna need this foam mat in a little bit, so I'm gonna grab that and pull that over. And I think we've given enough time for notifications to go out, so it's time to start warming up. Let's get into some hip cards. Actually, I'm gonna turn on some lights. It's dark. Ugh. All right, let's do this. We're back. It's time to get warmed up. If you are joining for the first time, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility, and we're getting started right away with some hip cars. They look like this. We're going to start by bringing our leg up as high as we can, directly in front. And if you can go a little higher, lift a little bit higher. Next, we're going to open up that leg to the side. All right? Your hips are trying to stay in the same spot the whole time. I want you to do your best. It's not super important that you get perfect today. It's important that you try your best. All right? We're going to push that leg out that way. Whee! And then we're going to rotate the leg so that the ankle comes up and it's hidden almost behind that knee. All right? That just means from a different angle, your ankle and your knee are about the same height. All right? From here, we're going to keep going. We're going to bring that knee down. We're going to bring that ankle up. Keep on rotating at that hip until your hamstrings feel like they're about to cramp. And we're going to bring the leg down and back. All right? When we bring the leg down and back, I want you to flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, feel the stretch right here in the hip flexor, and that is one rep. We're doing 10 reps on the left side. We're doing 10 reps on the right side. Let's go. Take a nice big deep breath. Stand up nice and straight. Keep that core tight, and let's go. High knee. Open. Ankle up some more. Down and back. That's one. High knee. Open. Ankle up some more. Down and back. That's two. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's three. I'm slightly off balance today. Not sure what's going on. My right foot does feel a little bit tired, so I'm going to hold on to something and get a little bit of help. All right. Feel free to use the wall. Use something to hold on to as well. Let's continue. High knee. Open. Ankle up some more. Down and back. That's four. High knee. Open. Ankle up some more. Down and back. That's five. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's six. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's seven. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's eight. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's nine. Last one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 10. Whew, that is a whole bunch of hip cars. We're going to go over and start on the other side. If your hips feel a little tight, a little tired, feel free to do a little dance, do a little shake, move that booty, and let's get ready to go on to the next leg. Stand up nice and straight and tall. Lift that knee up, open up that hip. Whew. Rotate, bring that knee forward, lift the ankle up. Keep going, bring the knee down, lift the ankle up even higher. Bring that leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Hold this leg back right here, feeling it in the hip flexor, and that is one rep. We're going to count that one, and we're going to do 9 more. All right, let's go. Nice and tall. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 2. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 3. High knee. Whoa, I'm off balance again. Struggling with balance today. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 4. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 5. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 6. Hey, Che, welcome back. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 7. 3 more. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 8. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 9. Last one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 10. Whew. That is our hip cars going forward. Take a second. Shake it out. Move those hips. Put that hip mobility that you're training to work with some motion, and let's get ready to go in reverse. All right. In reverse, we're basically doing the same movements, but in reverse order. There's one thing I want you to emphasize, and that is not twerking too hard. All right. When we start and bring this leg back, you get really excited. You might go, "Hooah!" and start really, really, really working on lifting that leg. You might start putting a bit of pressure right here in your low back. All right. You see how there's this big sudden bump right there in my back where my butt is? That's not just because my butt is nice. That is because you're also putting a whole bunch of pressure in your low back. All right. We don't want that, at least not too much, because a whole bunch of those is going to make your low back a little bit achy, a little bit tender. So, what I want you to do is try your best to keep your core nice and tight so that you're almost rounded forward, and that will make sure that the leg can't go that far back. The other thing is just stop trying so hard. All right, relax, chill. We're gonna focus on flexing the hamstrings, flexing the glutes, lifting as much as we can, and feeling the stretch right here, and that's it. Cool. All right, let's get into it. Stand up nice and straight. Hold on to something for balance if you want to, if you need it, and core tight. Let's go back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's one rep. We're doing 10 of these. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's two. I'm going to do the rest facing you and try to hold on to this bookcase over here. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's three. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's four. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's five. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's six. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's seven. Three more. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. Eight. These are all about trying to slowly build strength and control in these crazy ranges of motion. That's nine. So take your time. Breathe. Contract those muscles. Stay strong. And that is 10. Whew. I got one last leg to do. Breathe. Your hips are tight. Do a little shake. Do a little dance. Move those hips. Put the muscles that we're working to work and have fun with it. All right. Let's get ready to do our final leg. Inhale. Keep that core nice and tight and strong. Protect that low back. No twerking. Let's go back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's one. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's two. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Three. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's four. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. Did I say five already? I'm going to count it as five again because I didn't pay attention. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. Six. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. Seven. Three more. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's eight. Two more. Breathe. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's nine. Last one. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's 10. Whew. Those are hip curls. That is our first warm-up exercise. If you're just joining in, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice a little bit of consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering that we do every day a little bit more fun, a little bit more enjoyable, and a little easier to keep practicing consistency. All right? We're going to move on into our second warm-up exercise. It's a little easier than the hip cars. We're going to get into some elephant walks. All right, what I want you to do is fold right here at the hips. Bring that belly button down towards the ground and get into a nice 90-ish degree position. If you are a little bit higher, that's absolutely fine. Just focus on trying to chill. Whew. If you have a tight low back, like most of us do, breathe, relax, and give yourself a little bit of love, a little bit of time. For most of us,
Just folding forward and relaxing should take a whole bunch of tension out of the spine. If you have a specific spine thing, it might not. In fact, I think with some forms of sciatica, it might aggravate your back a little bit. So figure out what makes sense for you. And if what I'm saying doesn't make sense for you specifically, then don't do it. All right. Next, we're going to start bending our knees. We're going to bend one knee. We're going to straighten out the other leg. We're going to fold our belly buttons down towards the ground, like so. All right. We want to feel that stretch in the hamstring starting to build. And we want to switch from side to side. I'm going to switch and switch and switch. One leg is bent, one leg is straight. Then the other leg is bent, the other leg is straight. I'm going to keep going back from side to side. Whew. You should be feeling these in your hamstring. And you might also be feeling it kind of up here in your glutes. And it's because your hamstrings start sort of just below the knee and behind the knee, and they go all the way up. The last little bit of tendon connects into the bottom of your pelvis. And when you're folded forward like this, the bottom of your pelvis is basically where your butt is. All right? So if you're feeling it there, that makes sense. That's pretty normal. What else? I think we've done enough of these for you to get a little bit more comfortable, the hamstrings to be a little bit looser. So I want you to try one more time. Bring that belly button down a little bit deeper into a stretch and continue. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our elephant walks. Pop into a squat, come on back up into standing, and let's move on into some thoracic rotation. What we're going to do is shake our hips out, do a little dance, and get back in the same position we're just in. One leg is bent, one leg is straight. Our belly buttons are folded down. All right. From here, we're going to take the arm from the bent leg side. We're going to reach across the body to the opposite leg, the straight leg. We're going to push against that leg to help rotate our thoracic spine. We're just twisted. All right. I'm going to stick the other arm into the air. We're going to rotate our neck to look at that hand, and we're going to try our best to reach that hand over our shoulder. Inhale, exhale, and reach. Woo! That is half a rep. We're going to do the other side. This leg is bent. This leg is straight. We're folded forward. We're taking this hand. We're reaching across to the other side, to the straight leg. We're pushing off of that leg and reaching. Breathe. And reach. Inhale. Exhale and reach. That is our first rep. On the exhale, I want you to try to reach just a little bit deeper into that stretch if you can. And we got 5 of these to do in total, so we got 4 left. Let's go. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open. Look at the hand. Neck is rotated. Inhale, exhale, and reach. Other side. Whew, that's 2. We got 3 more. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open it up. Look at that hand. Rotate the neck. Inhale, exhale, reach. That's 3. Other side. 3. You got 2 reps. 4 and 5 left. This leg is bent. This leg is straight. This arm is bent. This leg is straight. We're pushing against that shin. We're opening up our chest. We're rotating the spine, looking at the hand, rotating the neck to look at that hand. And inhale, exhale, reach. Inhale, exhale, and reach. That's 4. Other side. Oh, 4 again. Last rep. Let's go. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open and reach. That's 5. Last one. And 5. Whew. If you are really trying to reach real hard, your shoulders, your rotation, some of these spine muscles might be a little bit tender for a moment. You might need to do a little bit of movement, shake those hips, do a little dance, have fun with that new mobility that you have relaxed yourself into. All right. We're going to move on into our 4th and final stretch now, or our 4th and final warm-up exercise now, and it's called the Cossack switch. All right. It looks a little bit like this. You don't have to hop in right away. We're going to do some pre
Cossack switch work in a little bit. But it looks like this. We're going to drop into a deep squat on one leg and basically a side split on the other leg. We're going to sink as deep as we can into this position. Then we're going to scoot our butts over to the other side. Whew, sink as deep as we can and then come on back and sink as deep as we can. That is the Cossack switch. The coming down part is just setting up, and the main part is going left and then coming back right. For most of us, our ankles or knees or hips aren't going to be quite ready for that. So what I want you to do is focus on popping into a little bit of a squat. Ugh. And just trying to get as low as you can. Try to bring your chest down to your knees. Try to bring your knees kind of ish towards your toes. So you got this nice Achilles tendon stretch going, this nice calf stretch going. You can poke your leg to double check that you got a nice crazy calf stretch going. Whew. Once you've been here for a little bit, feeling that stretch, why don't you just chill? All right, relax, breathe, and then when you've been comfortable for a little bit, I want you to add a little bit of movement. All right, doesn't have to be crazy. Just do what you can. If it feels unreasonable, if it feels uncomfortable, feel free to stop. All right. We're going to push one knee forward. We're going to push the other knee forward and pull the other leg back. We're going to just do a little dance. We're going to open up one leg to the side. We're going to bring it back in. We're going to push the other leg out. We're going to bring it back in. We're going to bring both out. We're going to bring it back in. What we're trying to do is add a little bit of gentle movement so that our ankles, our knees, our hips are ready for some more intense movement. All right? This is all that this is. You can take it nice and gentle. You don't have to push super hard. And when your legs are feeling a little bit looser, it's time for us to move on into some Cossack switches. The real stuff. Let's go. I'm going to scoot back so that the camera can see my whole body and not have me super chopped up and cut off. I want you to stick your hands straight down into the ground, extend one leg out to the side, and try to plant this heel down on the ground. Having this heel planted will help you stay a little bit more stable. All right. If you're on your toes like this, there's way more chance that your legs are going to shake. Having the heel planted will help a little bit with that. All right. From here, this is a test of what you're able to do. All right. Go as deep as you can. You don't have to go any further. All right. If your lowest squatting position is here, great. If you can go lower, awesome. If you can go even deeper, amazing. All we care about next is scooting our butts over to the other side. All right. If you're higher up, this might be pretty easy for you. Great. If you're a little lower to the ground, you might need a little bit of help. Stick your hands on the ground. Help shift your weight over to the other side. Get to that other side. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little bit deeper into the stretch and come on back. Scoop your butt back. That is one rep. We're going to do 10 of these in total. We're going to count that first one, so we're going to do 9 more. All right? Let's go. Hands down. Scoot your butt over. Or if you're a little bit higher up, take your time. Get your butt over back to the other side. All right? If you don't need your hands, you don't need that extra support, you don't need the help, feel free to continue without it and use just the rest of your body to figure it out. I'm pretty sure that was 3. Let's keep going. Across and back. That's 4. Keep going. 5. Use your hands if you need it. If you're really high up and you also need your hands, feel free to use a stool, use a chair, use a coffee table for a little bit of support as you come over. All right? I think this is 5. Now, if these are starting to make your knees a little bit achy right here on the inside, because this sort of staying super low and going from side to side is putting a lot of pressure on your knees, you have options. All right. One of them is instead of going across directly, you can come up a little bit, like half a squat, a third of a squat, then come over and then sink back down. All right. This, I believe, is 6. Keep going up, across, down, up, across, down. That's 7. You can also do something completely different. You can just power right through. Go, get a full squat out of it. All right. And then come on down on the other side, nice and slow and gentle. Sink into that stretch. And then boom, power through. Now I think that's 8. Keep going. What you want to do at this point is completely up to you. If you want to do some squats, have fun with it. If you need to do something a little gentler, feel free to come on up, across, and down, and up, across, and down. That is 10 Cossack switches, Cossack squats, Cossack slidey, up and down thingies. That is our warm up. If that sentence scares you, you're like, wait, that's the warm up? Don't worry. This is a side splits and hip mobility show. We are doing 45, 60 minutes, probably closer to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility. All right. What we just did was the warm up to get our blood pumping, to get our heart rates up, to get our muscles relaxed and loosened. And now the stretch is going to start. This is the fun stuff, or maybe the stuff that we suffer the most of. All right. I'm going to take a quick look at the chat. Sovereign says, are we working out or are we teaching? We're doing a little bit of both. Way F6 says, hola, welcome. All right. And we got a whole bunch of people saying hello, Adam and Amrafaki. Welcome over on YouTube. All right, bring in some hamstring stretches. Let's go. If you do not have something foam to put your knee on, that's okay. You don't need specialized equipment. All right. If you have a stuffed animal your dog has ripped apart, stick that stuffing back into the animal and then stick it on your knee. If you got an old flip flop, if you have an old sneaker you don't care about, boom, stick it on your knee. Decorative pillow, couch cushion, typical stuff you can use for padding, perfect. You can even take dirty laundry, roll it up, stick it under your knee. If it doesn't smell too bad, you're good to go. All right. Next, we're going to do a hamstring stretch from a kneeling position. And it's going to look a little bit like this. One leg is straight down underneath you. One leg is kind of in front. If you're immediately off balancing and you're like, oh, what's going on? You can widen your leg just a little bit, all right, to help with the balance. And then you're going to focus on folding this belly button down to that thigh, all right? Whee! If you're immediately struggling to fold forward and you're immediately turning into the Hunchback of Notre Dame, then I want you to start by giving yourself a slight bend in the knee and focus on bringing that belly button down first and then straighten out the legs after. You can even do a couple of these back and forth to help warm up a little bit more. All right? Whew, where are we at? I think we're basically in it, so let's get into it. One leg is going straight down. All right? Other leg is extended in front. We're bringing the belly button down. Whew. From here, when you feel like you're in a nice deep hamstring stretch, you don't have to keep pushing hard. We're going to just try our best to relax. All right, we're going to inhale, exhale. Try to drape our body over that leg. We're going to chill. Take a couple more breaths. Inhale, exhale. Let the hamstrings relax. And now that you've given yourself a chance, it's time to step it up a notch. We're going to take it up to another level. All right. We're going to do something called the inhale, exhale, fold. What we're going to do is take a big, huge breath into our lungs. Then we're going to slowly exhale. We're going to go. Then we're going to exhale it through our teeth. And as we exhale, we're going to try our best to fold our belly button a little deeper into the thigh. All right. Again, you can keep the knee slightly bent. You can straighten it. You can bend it. You can straighten it. You can bend it. You can straighten it. That will help you get into that hamstring stretch a little bit. All right. Let's go. We're in position. We're doing the inhale, exhale, fold. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Fold, 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 fold. Bring that belly button down. If it feels crazy tight, if your back is rounding like crazy right now, see if bending the knee helps you bring your chest a little bit lower to that leg. All right. We don't have to worry about the leg being straight right away. Once you've gotten and figured out how to focus the stretch on your hamstring stretch, we'll be able to fix all the other problems later. All right. From here, you're way deeper into your stretch. You're probably feeling it. It's feeling a little crazy. Your hamstrings are feeling tingly. What I want you to do is stab your fingers into your hamstrings. Give yourself a little light massage. Just poke, stab, distract your brain from how intense that stretch feels. And again, if you want, you can give yourself a little knee bend. You can straighten out the leg, knee bend, straighten out the leg, knee bend, straighten out the leg. I, from personal experience, find that this helps me get into a deeper next round. There is a next round. Yes, there is. We're going to do this for a couple more seconds. And then we're going to do another inhale, exhale, fold. All right? Big inhale. Exhale and fold. Woo.
fold. Exhale, bring that bring that chest down to that leg. Fold. Right now, if you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure on the back of your neck, in your upper back, in your mid back, you are going a little too hard. All right. This stretch is coming from your hips folding forward. If anything above your belly button is feeling really tense, is really arched, is really trying to smash your face into the knee or something like that, you're working too hard. Try to relax as much of those upper body muscles as possible. All right? And that's it. That is our setup. We're going to hang out here for 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. If you're a little bit more advanced and you've been doing some version of the show for a while now, I want you to try your best to contract the muscles here in the front of your hip. I almost want you to pretend that you're trying to lift the leg up into your chest. All right, it might not go anywhere, but I want you to try to use those muscles. I want you to try to use your core to pull yourself down into that leg as well. If you're new to this, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Just breathe and relax. 22, 21, 20, 19. If you go real hard with the contractions, you might start cramping up. So if that happens, reduce the intensity. Dial it back. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our hamstring stretch. Whew! Man. Today was the first day where I really emphasized the knee bending from the very, very, very beginning, and where I emphasized it 3+ times. And this was also the easiest I was able to get into my stretch, where I was able to stick the chest basically onto the knee with very little space in between my abs and my thighs. All right. I am sharing my personal experience. I think there's been a bunch of people in the chat who has said that doing a little bit of knee bending and focusing on folding the chest down first has helped. So I recommend you guys give it a try. And if it doesn't feel good, you don't have to continue. But I have found that it has dramatically improved the speed at which I drop down into that stretch. So give it a try. All right. Whew. What are we doing? Another leg. One other leg. Let's go. Bend this leg. Drop that knee down, extend the other leg in front, and let's prepare to fold. Bring that belly button down. Whew. Feel that hamstring stretch going. Add that little bit of knee bend. Once your knee is up, try and see if you can fold the knee into your chest real quick, right? And then we're going to straighten it out again. Fold and straighten and fold and straighten. Once you've done a couple of these, chill, relax. Inhale, exhale. Chill, relax. Relax your toes, relax your feet, relax your calves, your hamstrings, your glutes, your low back. Relax. Couple more seconds of this, and then we're going to do the inhale, exhale, fold. All right, let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Fold. Exhale. Once you're as deep as you can get for the moment, remember, we can add in that little bit of a bend and straighten it out, and bend and straighten it out, and bend and straighten it out. And see if you can chill. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Inhale. Exhale, relax. And see if you drop a little bit deeper into that stretch. Again, if you're feeling a whole bunch of stretch in the back of your neck, in your upper back, in your mid back, you're working too hard. This stretch is coming from your hips folding, and that causes your hamstrings to get tight. So if you're feeling it up here, if your back is rounded like this, you're working too hard. Try your best to relax those muscles. All right. That might mean for some of you, you're gonna want to extend your back so it's a little straighter, right? And if that works, that works. Cool. All right. We got one more inhale, exhale, fold. Let's do this. Inhale, big inhale. Exhale and fold. Woo. That is our second round. Feel free to add in that little bit of knee bend and straightening out one more time and see if that helps you stay a little bit deeper. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Inhale. Exhale. 10, 9. I'm stabbing my fingers into my hamstrings, giving them a light massage as we do this. So feel free to do that and distract your brain from how intense the stretch is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our hamstring stretch. Whew. That is our first stretch. We have 5 of these to do, but the hamstring stretch we spent some extra time on because we need it for the third stretch. We kind of need it for the fifth stretch, and we need the hamstrings to be doing pretty good so that we can focus on the other parts of those stretches. All right, we're gonna move on into stretch number 2, and that is the butterfly stretch. What I want you to do is sit your butt up against the wall for a little bit of support, and I'll talk about why in just a second. But for now, get your butt, your low back, your shoulders, your head up against the wall, and enjoy some nice standing up straight, sitting up straight posture for a second. We're going to bring our feet together and pull them in towards our groin. All right. Next, we're doing the butterfly stretch. Stretch number 2 is the butterfly stretch. The goal of the stretch is to stretch out your groin muscles. The way you do that is by bringing your knees down into the ground. So what I want you to do is try your very best to use your outer thigh muscles, your glutes to open up your legs and bring your knees down into the ground. This will help us build a little bit of control of those muscles. And if you're brand new to the show, you're like, what? What control? What muscles? What are you talking about? How do I do this? Don't worry too much about the nitty gritty details. Just focus on 2 things. One, your knees are going slightly down into the ground. If it's just half a centimeter, that's fine. That's going down. You're doing the right thing. 2, if you're feeling the groin stretch get more intense, you're doing the right thing. All right. Next, we're going to take our hands, we're going to stick them just underneath the knee, and we are going to give ourselves a light push to push our knees a little closer to the ground. When you do this, your hands are going to push your legs into the ground, but your shoulders are going to push your own shoulders and the back of your head into the wall behind you. This is why there is a wall there to keep you from flopping backwards. All right. So if you're feeling pressure in the back of your head, that's normal. When you breathe in this position, I want you to, on your exhales, try to see if you can add a little bit more pressure into your legs. Push a little bit deeper. And if you can, great, take it. If you cannot, feel free to pause right there and just hang for the rest of the stretch. All right, we're going for 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26. Remember, on that exhale, we want to try to push just a little bit. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. If you've been a regular on the show, you probably know that not every day are you going to be as good as the day before. If you were making crazy, noticeable, obvious improvements every single day, you'd probably be done with this stretch within like 10 days. All right. But that is not how that works. That's not how the body works. Some days you'll be a little bit more sore. Some days you'll be a little bit more tired. Some days you can't give it your all. Some days you'll be able to give a little bit less than you would expect. And all we ask on this show is for a little consistency. All right. And that means showing up, giving what you can. If it's a 30% day, it's a 30% day. If it's a 50% day, it's a 50% day. If it's a 100% day, amazing. Give yourself that 100%. All right. Otherwise, we're done with this stretch. Let's move on. Whew, let your arms go. If your legs are tired, that's totally normal. If your hands are tired, that's also totally normal. We're going to wrap up with this stretch by doing a little bit of leg flapping. All right, we're going to flap the wings of this butterfly in the butterfly stretch. Take some time, bring your legs up and down, drop them to the side, and if your legs are really struggling to lift up, you're going, ooh, ah, ooh. Feel free to grab that leg, give it a little shake manually with your arms first, and try to do the same. Be even on both sides. That should wake up the leg muscles and should help you flap a little bit more consistently. All right, that is our second stretch.
We're gonna move on into our third stretch, the standing pancake. Now that your legs are moving and moving pretty good, we're ready to take it up a level. All right, we'll take a quick look. Shiraz says it's a 20% day. That is totally fine. Thank you for showing up, despite it being a 20% day. Thank you for prioritizing doing the work, even though it's 20% day. It's not every day is going to be easy. Not every day is going to be fun, but making progress in most things uh, requires you to sit down and be consistent about it, right? And that's what this show is about. You don't have to give 100% every day. That is not the point, right? The point is to focus on crafting your life so that you can do your very best to be consistent, so that you can show up when you need to show up, so that you can earn the rewards that you're working towards. All right? All right. Where are we going with this? It's time to get into the third stretch. Standing pancake. It looks a little bit like this. We're going to open up our legs nice and wide. And if you're starting to feel pain here in the hips, you've gone too far. You can stop. You can focus on bringing your legs back in just a little bit until that painful sensation goes away. And once you're able to move around without pain, we're ready to continue. Focus on folding that belly button down to the ground. Whee! Boom. Here's our starting position for the pancake. All right. From the side, spin a little bit like this. This is a standing pancake. Our goal here is to basically fold our upper body in between our legs with our back relatively straight. And it's really hard. It's really, 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 really hard. So when we are setting up, we want to focus on getting gravity to give us as much help as possible. The way we do that is by keeping this upper body as close to horizontal as possible and then making it as long as possible. So if you want to make it harder and have gravity work you a little bit deeper, bring your biceps up to your ears and breathe. Exhale, relax, and sink into that stretch. If that's not enough for you, you're like, that's too easy, Ken. I need something more challenging. Hold on to something and push it all the way out there. It could be a water bottle, it could be a small, tiny 1 pound dumbbell. Start small because it gets tiring real fast. All right? Whatever the case, this is our setup. All right? 2 tips. If you feel like your face is too close to the ground, it's feeling a little uncomfortable, you're not really horizontal anymore, you're like too close to the ground, you can stick your butt back, right? When you stick your butt back, it'll pull your upper body up a little bit higher into the air, all right? That'll get you a little closer to horizontal, which is good. And it will also make your suffering that much more intense, all right? That's that's everything. Actually, no, there's one last thing. If you want, if it's comfortable, you can widen your stance a little bit more. You can push your feet out. Now, that's everything. All right, fold. Bring your belly button down to the ground. Bring it down some more. Bring it down a little bit more. Fold, 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 fold. Stick your butt back if you want. Extend your arms out in front of you if you want to make it real hard for yourself. And let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. Do not hold your breath. Keep breathing. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, put your hands down. Oh, come out of that stretch. I should have warned you a little bit earlier that if there was any point where you're like, this is too much, I need to stop, you can put your hands down at any time and come out of that stretch. Hopefully, that's always implied, but I could have said it too. All right, from here, if your inner thighs are fried and your legs don't want to move and you're kind of stuck right now, I want you to focus on just your feet. All right, wiggle your toes in, wiggle your heels in, wiggle your toes in, wiggle your heels in, wiggle your toes in, wiggle your heels in, toes and heels and toes and heels and toes. And then do the other side. Toes and heels and toes and heels and toes and heels and toes and heels and toes. Whew. Once your legs are kind of back together and you're kind of in this squat over position, feel free to pop into an actual squat, then push off your knees and come back into standing. Whew! My nose is super itchy today. I'm not sure what's going on, but I feel like I'm gonna sneeze and I keep on scratching my nose and then there's no sneeze, so I'm confused. But I'm gonna keep scratching my nose presumably for the rest of the show. If you're wondering why my nose is super itchy and I can't figure out why. Okay, we are done with our third stretch, the standing pancake. And one of the reasons why we spent so much time in that hamstring stretch is because the standing pancake has a huge demand on the hamstring. When you're folding forward, doesn't matter if your legs are together or if your legs are apart. When you're folding forward, your hamstrings are going to cry. All right. And then in our standing pancake, we got a double whammy. All right. We got the inner thighs here working real hard because they're doing two things at the same time, and they're going to sound like it's contradictory for a second. But when our legs open up like this, they're getting stretched, right? But they're also contracting really hard. When you get into a position that your brain says, hey, I don't like this doesn't feel safe, subconsciously is going to contract these muscles. There's something called a stretch reflex, and it happens unconsciously. You don't do it on purpose. It just goes, boom, we're stopping this. And that contraction kicks in when you can't go any further, right? But it doesn't end there. When we stand in this position, when we just chill and when we hang out here, those muscles have to stay contracted and they have to stay contracting really hard for a long time to keep you in position. All right. That contraction with that stretch is what causes your legs to feel like they don't want to work when we come out of this stretch. And you're just going, toe, heel, until your legs are back together and everything starts feeling okay after a little bit. All right. Whew. Now that you know how that works, we're going to move on into a completely different stretch. Our fourth stretch is either the figure four or the pigeon. These are two different options with very similar setups. One requires you to pull your leg. The figure four requires you to pull your leg a little bit more, whereas the pigeon has you sort of flopping and letting gravity do most of the work. So if you're newer to the stretch, the figure four will give you a little bit more control. The pigeon just feels way more badass because you just get to chill in a crazy position. All right. Yesterday night we did the pigeon, so today I'm going to explain the figure four. If you're a regular, feel free to jump into whatever it is that you like. All right. Both the figure four and the pigeon have the same fundamentals. One leg is cross the body like this, and we're taking that leg, we're bringing it up to our belly button. We're bringing our belly buttons down to that leg. We're folding forward. And from the side, it looks a little bit like this. We're feeling that stretch here in the side of the hip, in the glute muscle. We're also going to feel it a little bit in our hamstrings. We're going to feel it possibly in the outside of that thigh and also where you're actually doing the folding. All right. Let's get into the figure four. We're going to do it laying down. Oh, oh, figure four is my favorite stretch because we get to lay down. Okay, from here, we're taking one leg, we're crossing it over to the other side. We're going to stick one hand, we're going to reach it through this triangle we just made, and we're going to stick the other arm around the outside of the leg that is not crossed. And we're going to pull on that knee. All right? From the side, it looks a little bit like this. I want you to breathe, and on your exhale, I want you to try your best to pull your legs in a little bit closer to your chest. All right? Inhale, exhale. Pull a little bit closer to the chest. Ho, ho, ho. One more. Inhale, exhale. Ho, 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 ho. Pull a little closer to the chest. Inhale, exhale. Ho, 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 ho. Pull a little closer into the chest. All right? The reason why we're doing this is because a lot of the time when you get into the pigeon, just because your body weight is squishing you, you'll get into a much deeper stretch automatically. And when we do this version of the stretch, we tend to relax our arms and just lean back and recline, and we don't actually work our legs that hard. This is why I force you to pull early and often. All right, that's it. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27. 26. Of course, if it's deeply uncomfortable and painful, you don't have to keep pulling. If it's really bad, that's not a reason to keep pushing. All right. My suggestion is only for people who recognize that in the pigeon they are much deeper into the stretch because gravity is doing the work. When you're doing the figure four, you're doing the work. You're pulling your leg to your chest. So sometimes it can be a little harder to get us to our full depths. All right, especially on 20% days, like Charlotte said. Where are we at? 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. As you continue, I want you to slowly keep on applying a little bit more pressure onto that knee. Pull it in towards you. If you're feeling the other knee, this knee that's crossed over your leg, getting a little achy, feeling a little bit of pressure, feel free to cup that knee and pull it in as well. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew, that is our pigeon stretch. Oh, sorry, that is our figure four stretch. Let's do the other side. Leg crossed over, arm through the triangle, arm through the to the outside of the other leg that's not crossed. Take some breaths. Pull that leg in. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe. Chill. Inhale. Exhale. Pull. Chill. Inhale. Exhale. Pull. Chill. That should be a good start. Let's go. 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26. Again, you can cup that knee for a little bit of extra protection. If you're feeling like the knee is getting a little achy, you can support the knee and pull on it directly. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is our fourth stretch. We are done with all the preparation. We got 5 stretches in total in this show. We just finished number 4. We're getting into the fifth and final. We're doing some side splits. All right. If you've never done side splits before, don't worry. We're gonna break it down into little steps. We're gonna drop into it slowly, and you can stop. You can pause at any one of those steps as soon as you feel uncomfortable. All right. And if you've never done one before, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. What else? What else? What else? What else? This is a what time is it? 49 minutes in already. All right, this is going to be definitely an over 60-minute long show. We got like 10, 15 more minutes left of stretching. We're doing some side splits, and we're going to crush them today. All right. So, if you like side splits, if you like hip mobility, if you need a little bit of help practicing consistency, we're here every single day at 9 p.m. Which, if you're not in the right time zone, we started 48 minutes ago. We're here every single day, Monday through Sunday. All right. And our number one goal is to help everybody practice consistency. That does not mean you have to show up every single day. I show up every single day because I care about you guys, but you don't have to show up. If you're sore, if you're tired, feel free to take a day off. All right. This is not it's not a forceful, intense show. This is a showing up consistently because we're building our consistency skill. All right. This live is built to be done every single day. It's not so intense that you can't recover from it. But if you're new to the show, it might not be so easy to recover from it. Your muscles might be extra sore because it's just new to you. Um, we build this, we do this show every single day to build a little bit of community, to help us support each other in showing up every day. Because it's not easy. It's definitely hard. Shareth is here with 20% day, 20% energy, and that is absolutely okay. It's great. Showing up with what you got because you're committed to being consistent is super important. And in some regards, actually, in the actual physical building of your body, it might not be that valuable for you to show up every single day. But this is a skill that will be very useful for everything else that you do for sure. The reason why I'm saying this is because showing up every day is very likely not the fastest way to get side splits. All right. I know that for sure is probably not the fastest way to get side splits. But there is a prerequisite. There's an if. There's an asterisk to that statement. If you cannot show up consistently to a different plan, if you're gonna just do 3 days and never do it again, then this plan, showing up every day, hanging out with the community, is going to get you there faster. All right. If you can follow a very strict, intense plan without any flaws, and you can keep coming back to it, then you don't need this show. All right, this is not gonna. This show isn't gonna help you very much. You can get there faster using other ways. But if you know that you're the type of person who will start, you'll do a couple weeks, you'll get sore, and then all of a sudden you'll drop off and you'll never show up again. 6 months later, you'll be like, oh yeah, there was that thing and then you'll start again, and you drop off after 2 more weeks. I'm saying this because it's life experience. I've wanted to do side splits for like 15 years, and the first 15 years, I would do this cycle of starting over every 6 months for like 2 weeks, and then not making any progress. All right, this is the first time that I've made any progress in my side split, and I have been doing this show for like 500 days, some version of this show for 500 days. I'm almost done. All the recordings are live, so you can go check my old progress somewhere on the internet, and we don't have to keep talking about this. I usually don't go into this ramble this early in the show, but we're gonna do some side splits. All right. The first thing I want to talk about is safety. So I want you to bring your butts over to a wall, and we're going to have our butt resting on the wall. From here, I want you to take one step forward in front of the wall so that when your legs are wide, you can just sort of lean your butt against the wall. All right. This is important because I don't want you to fall. I don't want you to fall backwards. Right. If you're close enough to the wall, if you lose balance and you start falling backwards, your butt will just have a gentle tap against the wall, and all of a sudden you're fine. You can, if you fall into this position, you can do a little hip thrust, wee, and then you'll be back in your side splits. All right. So this is very important. Stand 8 to 12 inches, one footstep in front of a wall so that it can catch you when you inevitably lose balance. But also, we'll need it for support later. So, this is actually really important for the rest of the show. All right. From here, we're going to get into some side splits. If you are not quite that low, don't worry about it. We're going to start here at around 60 ish degrees. All right. Slowly widen out your legs, push them out to the side, and see what is comfortable-ish for you. If your hips are hurting right here, if you're feeling it, you're struggling, you're going, oh, what the heck is going on? You've gone too far, you can stop. All right. Everybody's anatomy is going to be a little bit different. Your thigh bone and your hip bone and the angle, everything matches up. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody. So, what looks perfectly comfortable for me might not work for you at all. What is perfectly awful for me might be like super easy. There are people who are genetically able to drop all the way down into a side split without any pain in their hip because they just have a perfect combination of bone structure. For most of us, for like 99.5% of us, we're going to have to do some rotation. We're going to have to do some tricky stuff to get into position. All right. And that is what we're going to talk about first. If your hips are hurting, bring your legs in just a little bit. When they're not hurting, you can do a little bit of movement. We're ready to fold. Bring that belly button down into the ground. Whee! From here, why don't you stick your hands down on the ground if you can. If you cannot, or you just don't want to because it seems like a huge pain in the butt, feel free to elevate your hands. All right. If you have something relatively stable, pretty sturdy, coffee table, stool, then you're ready to go. All right. This is just going to help make it a little bit easier for you to adjust. Next, we're going to get back into our hip and thigh bone situation. We're going to make sure they don't smash into each other and they don't continue to cause us pain. So what we're going to do is rotate this leg back 90 degrees. All right. Right now our knees are pointing forward, our toes are pointing forward, and what we're going to do is boom, heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. I do this explosively to make the show entertaining. You do not have to go fast at all. All right. Boom, heels down, toes up, knees pointing up. Once you are in this position, you are holding a side split. The only thing holding you back is the length of your muscles. The bones are not going to smash into each other anymore. All right. From here, it's time to chill. It's time to relax. It's time to get deep into our stretch. If you can, inhale, exhale, and try to drop into the stretch a little bit. Whew. If you are feeling it real bad right now, because this is your first time doing a side split, take it slow, take it gentle. No need to rush it. All right. You can try, if you're ready, to push a little bit to the left, push a little to the right, push a little to the left, push a little to the right. See if you can get just a little bit deeper. Feel free to stop whenever. All right. Next, I want you to walk your hands towards your hips if you can. If you're still using the stool and you're higher up, you can just move the stool with you and rest your butt against the wall. All right. As you get lower to the ground, you might not need the stool, but you can still rest your butt against the wall and have your hands down on the ground. From here, if your knees are pointing up and the top of your head is also pointing up, you're in a side split position. All right. That means you're pretty low to the ground and you can start relaxing some muscles. I want you to relax your toes, relax your feet, relax your calves, relax your hamstrings, relax your glutes. I want you to inhale and exhale and try to
relax your body, and sit a little bit deeper into your stretch. All right, at this point, most of us should be suffering a little bit. All right, this isn't supposed to be super easy. From here, we're just going to hang out for 30 seconds and we'll be done. All right, 30, 29, 28, 27. I want you to add a little tiny bit of a lean to the left, lean to the right when you feel like you might be able to. See if you can push a little bit deeper into the stretch. If you can't, don't worry about it. 23, 22. My nose is so itchy. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, walk your hands forward. Bring your legs in underneath you. That is our stretch. Ugh. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you want. It is not easy, so be loud. Have fun. Express your frustration. And relax. That was round one. We got 3 rounds in total, so we got 2 more. We're going to come back into standing. We're going to shake out our legs. We're going to try our best to relax our bodies, and then we're going to continue back into side split number 2. All right? When you're ready, come on back into standing. We're going to start shaking out our ankles. What we're trying to do is relax our legs as much as we can. And we're going to start with the ankle. You don't have to shake it really hard. You can just flick back and forth, side to side, make a couple of circles, just a little bit of gentle motion to start. If you find that it's super comfortable and you're chill, feel free to increase the intensity. All right. The reason why we're shaking out the ankles is because we want the leg muscles to be relaxed. When your when your feet is pointed or your foot is flexed or you're doing ankle circles, all these muscles are working real hard across your feet, across your calves, and just below the knee. And when you shake out your legs and or your ankles are going to all these crazy places, all those muscles have to be relatively relaxed for you to be able to go to those places. All right. And that's what we want. We want those muscles to be chilling, relaxing, letting you do whatever the heck you want. And that is the purpose of the shaky, 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 shaky. We switch legs, by the way. So switch over to the other side. Shake out that ankle, flop it around, and just flop, 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 flop. Again, the goal is relaxation. Now, put your feet down, do a little knee bend, do a little lean from side to side. See if your legs feel a little bit better than when we stopped doing the side splits. If they do, it worked. We're going to move on. Next, we're going to pull your weight into one leg. We're going to drop the big toe of the other leg down on the ground. We're going to rotate our legs in and out and in and out and in and out. All right. If you're new to the show, take your time, build some strength, build some control. The whole body is basically still, except for this thigh bone in this hip socket right here. All right. We're rotating and bring the leg in, bring the leg out, bring the leg in, bring the leg out. What we're doing is working on building some strength and control in some of these hip muscles here. And as you get more comfortable, you can start picking up the pace. You can get loose, you can get shaky with it, and have some fun. All right, other side. All your weight is in one leg. Big toe of the other leg is down. In, out, 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 in, out. If you want, you can add in some cool things. Do some stanky leg. Whee! Pull that leg in. Do both legs at the same time. Have fun with that hip mobility that you're building, right? If you're having fun, it's going to be way easier for you to stay consistent. And that's what this show is all about. So, now that your hips are a little bit looser, your legs are a little bit looser, we're ready to move on into side split number 2. Let's go ahead and begin. Butt up against the wall. Take one step in front. Open up those legs nice and wide. If you're feeling pain at the hips, bring the legs in. Fold forward. Bring that belly button down. Put your hands down. If you cannot or you don't want to, elevate to your hands. Open up those legs as deep as they can go. All right. From here, we're going to do the most important part of the whole entire stretch. We're going to rotate the legs. Right now, the knees are pointing forward, the toes are kind of pointing forward. What we're going to do is, boom, rotate that leg so the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are up. This is very important. Focus on this. If you get stuck here, it's going to make it much more difficult for you to get into your side split without pain and pinching at the hips. All right. This is what the rotation is for, to prevent the pinching. Other side. Boom. Heels down, toes up, knees
up. Once you are in position, you're in your side splits. Inhale, exhale, and relax. See if you can drop a little bit deeper. All right, one more. Inhale, exhale, relax. And once you have dropped a little bit deeper, we can start doing the little lean to the right, lean to the left, lean to the right, lean to the left. See if you can push yourself a little bit deeper into the stretch and start walking your hips back to that wall. Whew. From here, we're chilling, we're breathing, we're relaxing. Sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Whew. If you don't need the stool, feel free to not use it any longer. Relax the toes, relax the calves, relax the hamstrings, relax the glutes, relax the low back. Breathe, sink a little bit deeper into your stretch. From here, we're going to change it up a little bit. Previously, we just sat in this position and we felt the stretch probably primarily in the hamstring. Now, we're going to walk our hands forward a little bit. So it looks like we're holding a push-up position, and it's going to rotate our stretch so that you're going to feel it a little bit more in the inner thighs. All right. We need a combination of both of those to get into our side splits. So we're doing the other muscle now. Feel free to push a little bit to the left, push a little to the right, see if you can get a little bit more depth, and let's go with 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. If at any point you feel like the stretch is a little too intense, you want to change it up, you can always adjust it. Walk your hands back to something a little closer to what we were doing before with our butt against the wall. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Walk your hands forward. Bring your knees in underneath you. And that is our second round. We are two side splits deep. Come on back up into standing. Let's shake out those legs. Start nice and gentle. Flop those ankles around. Again, this is all about relaxation. It's about getting loose so that your muscles are long and they don't get all tight so that you can get into a deeper second side split. All right. So shake out the ankles. Flop, 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 flop. This is not about you trying to use your muscles to rotate your ankles really fast. This is about shaking your ankles so that they're just doing whatever the heck they want and you have absolutely no control. That's our goal. To let the muscles be so relaxed your ankle can do whatever it wants. And as you get a little bit more comfortable with those, you can pick up the intensity, you can shake a little bit harder, you can go a little bit wilder, but take it nice and slow. Figure out what you're capable of and slowly increase the intensity. You don't have to go 0 to 100 all at once. All right? Once your legs are shaken out and you're moving a little bit better, we're going to move on into the hips. All your weight is one leg, big toe is down in the other, or bring the leg in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. When you got that locked down, we can try some more complex fun stuff. All right. I want you to do a stanky leg almost. Bring the leg in towards you with this knee bent. All right. And I want you to open just like we were doing before. I want you to push that leg back out. So I want you to pull it in and push it out and pull it in and push it out and pull it in and push it out and pull it in and push it out. Have fun with the hip mobility that we're building. If you give it a use, if you give it a purpose, it'll be much easier for you to love it. All right. Other side. All your weight is one leg. Big toe is down. We're doing the in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. If you want to just focus on this version, feel free to stick with it. But if you want to try to put it to use, feel free to bend this leg, straighten out this leg, pull the leg in, all graceful. Push that leg back out, pull it back in, push it back out, pull it back in, push it back out. Have fun with that hip mobility and shake out those legs. All right. I gotta solve a puzzle over on TikTok because I need to prove I'm not a robot. Give me a second. I succeeded on the first try. That almost never happens. All right. Hopefully, your legs, your hips are shaken out, and we're ready for side split number 3. Let's go. Butt against the wall. Take one step in front. Open up those legs nice and wide. Make sure there's no pinching pain at the hips. If there is, bring the legs together. Fold the belly button down into the ground. Put your hands down. Use your hands. Elevate them if you need to, and see if you can get a little bit deeper into your stretch. All right. From here, or externally rotating so that the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. And we're doing that on both legs. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are up. Remember, these are for protecting your thigh bones from smashing into your hip bones and causing it to hurt. So, once you've done that, you're in your side splits. All right? Inhale, exhale. Try to sink a little bit deeper. Inhale, exhale. Try to sink a little bit deeper. Walk your hands towards your hips, rest your butt against the wall, and try to sit up nice and straight if you can. Your knees should be pointing up, and the top of your head should be pointing up. That is a sign you're still holding your side splits. So once you've confirmed that you're in a good position, start relaxing your muscles. Relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes. Breathe. Try to sink a little bit deeper into your stretch. Inhale, exhale. And that is one. We're going to do one more. Inhale, exhale. Whew. We got options for a third and final side split, y'all. If you want, you can continue with your butt against the wall, trying to sit up real straight, feeling that stretch mostly in your hamstrings. You can also do the version we just did, where we walked our hands forward into that push-up position. You're going to feel it more in your inner thighs. And third is the one that I am going to do. I'm going to sit on my butt. I'm going to try and get into a really intense pancake stretch. I believe that the pancake stretch is the stretch that's holding me back from a deeper side split right now. So this is why I'm doing the pancake. But from this position, you can do all three. And you just need to slightly rotate your hips to do any variation that you want. All right. So I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds to get into position for your choice. And we're going to hold for 30 seconds and do our best. All right. Remember to breathe. Let's begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 30 seconds. Let's do it. 29, 28, 27. Keep breathing. 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, that's it. That's our side split pancake thing. Take your time, get out of it. Bring the legs together out of this stretch however you want to. I'm going to bring my legs together in front of me instead of our normal walk your hands forward, bring your legs in underneath you because my legs don't work right now. And that is our third and final side split. Whew. We're going to come back into standing. We're going to shake out our legs one last time. We're going to do some joint checks, and then I'm going to sit down for Q&A. All right, let's do this. Shake, 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 shake out those ankles. The more you do the ankle shake, the faster and quicker your muscles will start relaxing. And the way I talk about it is I focus on the ankle to start because it is a very easy joint to see from wherever you're looking at the leg to see that it's flopping all over the place. All right. If you're feeling advanced, if you're feeling ready, you can start shaking a whole bunch of things all at the same time. It doesn't have to be stopped at the ankle. The more relaxation you have control of, the faster you can relax, the easier it will be for you to get into whatever other move that you want to get into. All right. So I started with the ankles to help make things easy to focus on and to work on. But if you want to start flopping everything like you're the inflatable car salesman balloon thing that goes like this, that is completely up to you. All right. Next, we're gonna move on into our hips. All your weight is one leg, big toe is down. We can start with this variation, but there's another variation I want you to try. I want you to keep putting all this weight on that one leg. I want you to extend this one leg out to the side. I want you to give it a slight bend at the knee. I want you to shake so hard your quad muscles start flopping around like they're making of jello. All right? I want your legs to be flopping and loose and shaky. And then we want to do the other side. All your weight is one leg, big toe is down, widen that stance, and shake, 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 shake. Again, there's almost no weight in this leg, right? And when there's no weight in that leg, it's much easier for these muscles to relax. And you can just shake, 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 turn that leg into jello and flop it around. Whew, that is our shaky, shaky stuff. Let's move on to the joint checks and wrap up for today. Joint checks. We're doing some nice and slow hip circles. All right. We're gonna go lean into that hip. Whew, slowly shift our weight back. Feel that stretch in the butt. Feel that stretch. Feel that stretch in the hip, in the butt. Come on round to the other side. Push forward. Support your low back with your hands if you need to. And keep going. Two one way. Two the other. Oh, feel free to go slow and pick up the pace. Feel free to go slow and stay slow the whole entire time. When your hips are feeling a little bit better, let's follow up with a quick high knee. If the knees come up, we're ready to move on. We're going to do a couple of calf raises from a squat position to really test our joints, to test our muscles and our tendons. All right. What I want you to do is keep your feet right underneath you, not wide, not super close, just neutral underneath you. Then we're going to pop into a squat. All right. From the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. I want you to bring your chest down towards your knees, and then I want you to push your knees forward towards your face. And you might start feeling like you're going to tip over and fall forward. That is exactly what we want. When you figure out that falling forward sensation, your toes should start working real hard to clench the ground to keep you from falling. And when your toes are working real hard, the arch of your foot should also start kicking in, and you'll be gripping the foot or gripping the floor like this, except it's your foot and not your hand. All right. Once you're here, we can put the hands down or not and do some calf raises. All right. Focus on bringing the heels straight up and down. One, two, three. Do as many as you'd like. If you haven't figured out the form, do a couple more. Experiment with it. I want you to try your best to balance your weight between your big toe and your index toe, or your big toe and your middle toe, right here. And that will help you get your ankles to go straight up. If you try to spread that weight across your whole entire forefoot, you tend to do something like this and your knees shoot out to the side. We want to go ankles straight up and down. And once you've done a couple of those, chances are you're able to get your you're able to get your teeth, you're able to get your toes working with the arch of your foot, with the Achilles tendon, with the calves, with the quads, with the ankles, the knees, the feet, the hips, the low back, and make them all work together really well to get you through that crazy calf raise in a squat position. All right. If you're able to do that, chances are you're ready to go back to doing whatever else you have to do for the rest of the day. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency, working on your side splits, working on your hip mobility with me today. We do this live every single day at 9 p.m. If you don't know what time that is for your time zone, because it's nowhere close to 9 p.m., we started this live about an hour and 14 minutes ago. So, Monday through Sunday, every day of the week, that is our live time. Please come back, hang out if you want to work on more hip mobility, if you want to work on your side splits, and especially if you want to work on your consistency. This show is built to make consistency a little bit easier. The stretches are designed to be mostly recoverable so that the next day you can come back and do a little bit more. The show is designed so that I show up every single day to support you. And I'm the proof that it's probably doable very, very, very often because I do it like 9 times a week. All right. You don't have to come in with 100% every single day, right, Shareth? If you're feeling like it's a 20% day, feel free to give it a 20%. If it's a 50% day, feel free to give it a 50%. Today is definitely not a 100% day for me. If you're a regular, you might know my energy is a little bit lower than usual. I would say today's probably a 50% day for me, but we showed up, we did the work, and over time, that adds up. And it's not just for the side splits that adds up, right? We're building your own confidence in yourself. We're building your belief that you can show up, that you can be consistent. And that, at the end of the day, I hope is what's most valuable. There's some other ideas about like building something that you do a little every single day, something that you can recover from, something that like you choose to do and you set time aside and you slowly make it become part of your life. There's like other ideas that you can add in, but the most important thing is that you're building the confidence that you can show up and do the hard work that you got to do, and it counts and it matters. All right. So with that, I think I got to do some shameless self promotion because I make other content. Most of the time, it's about adding a little bit of mobility, a little bit of exercise into your day to day life. If you got 2 minutes waiting for the microwave to finish heating up your lunch, or your coffee to finish dripping, or your ramen to soak up all the hot water and become soft and edible, those are 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes that you can spend on a little bit of movement. All right. Doesn't have to be crazy. It probably won't build you muscle anytime fast, but what it will do is remind you that movement helps you feel good. Movement helps you feel better. Sometimes just doing a couple of squats, doing a couple of lunges, doing a little bit to move your hips is all it takes for you to move better throughout the rest of the day. That is what my mission is, to help you get just a little bit more, for you to realize, damn, that feels good. And all it took was a little bit of time that I was going to spend doom scrolling anyway. All right. If you like that, make sure to definitely hit follow and hit subscribe, because that kind of content will start trickling towards you normally. And then when you doom scroll, you'll be reminded to get a little bit of mobility done. Cool. All right. I make some other content. I'm trying to get back into my own fitness and strength stuff through calisthenics. I got a couple of calisthenics tutorials that are from old skills that I've had for a while, that I cleaned up recently because I haven't done very many of them for a couple of years, and I have made some tutorials. All right, because I have had these skills for a while. I'm not starting from scratch and rebuilding it. I feel like it is possible that some of the tutorials kind of jump through some basic stuff that I cannot think of, because I'm not as beginner a beginner as I used to be. And so I'd love it if you guys took a quick look at my YouTube content, the long form content, the normal wide YouTube content, not the tall YouTube content, and check out some of the tutorials. I got three up. One is for the elbow lever, one is for the frog stand, and one is for the crow pose. I'm gonna give you a quick demo of what those look like, and then I'll send you over to the YouTube channel. All right. Frog pose looks a little bit like this. And it's the easiest one to start with. You get into this sort of deep squat. You stick your elbow into the butt crack, that is your calf and your thigh, where they meet. You stick your index fingers up into the air, you spread your fingers, and then you just lean forward until your hands come down on the ground. All right. Once you do that, you just lean forward and figure out where the balancing point here on your hands is. It feels like it's going to take a lot of strength, I know, but it's mostly about balance, because your body weight is being balanced on this forearm. All right. So go ahead, try it out. Check out that video, and let me know if the video has any problems. If you got questions that have not been answered, come back into the live, reply in the comments. Tell me what questions you got, and I'll try my best to answer, and I'll revise the video. All right. Other than the frog stand, we got the crow pose. Crow pose is like a big brother version of the frog stand. Instead of sticking your elbows into the butt crack between your calf and your thigh, we rest the tricep, so underneath the arm, on the smoothest, flattest part of your knee that you can find. All right. Once you find that spot, it might take a second because your knees are lumpy. We're going to do the same thing. Our index fingers are pointing up, our fingers are spread, and we're going to stick our hands straight down into the ground. Then we're going to lean into and rest our knees on our elbows. All right. This position is awesome because it helps you train your balance, and it helps you get things like handstands a little bit more comfortably. All right. Whew. Oh man, today was a clean one. The last 2 days I had a bunch of trouble getting into the handstand, but now I'm holding one super clean. See, I thought today was a 50% energy day, but I just pulled off a clean handstand press, and I don't know. All right. Anyways, that is why the crow pose is awesome. It transitions really well into a whole bunch of other new moves, and it's basically a small upgrade from that first move I showed you, the frog stand, where all of it is balanced and it's not so much straight. Finally, there is my favorite move so far, because it looks the coolest by far. It's called the elbow lever. All right. Basically, you're, what am I even trying to say? You are balancing your body in a plank position on your elbows. And as you get more comfortable with this, you can start doing cooler stuff like lifting your legs. You can swim. You can do some frog kicks. Is that what it's called when you swim? When you do that? Anyways, that's that's the elbow lever. All of these moves, at some level, is primarily balance. When you start trying to stick your legs straight up into the air in the elbow lever, there's going to be a lot more strength. But when you're getting the first version of it, when you're trying to get started in that plank position, a lot of it is just figuring out the balance and where you're going to stab your elbows. All right, that is a whole bunch of different moves. If you are interested in any of them, please go check out the YouTube channel. It is at Splits on the Side, so the same username across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you got questions, feel free to throw it in the comments of that video, or come back into the live tomorrow, the day after, whatever, whenever, and ask those questions because I'll be here to answer them. All right? Okay, that is the end of the self promotion. I'm gonna officially look at the Q&A. I'm gonna scroll. I mean, I'm not gonna scroll. I'm gonna scoot my butt over to the phone. All right, what are we doing? Queen RR says hello on YouTube. MR says hi and hi. We saw these earlier. And then Manish says, bro, I do every single day. Awesome. Walsh Boy UK is back with the bicep emoji. Love it. Good to see you. And Manish is complimenting my communication skills. I have been doing some version of this live for basically 500 days. All right. So if it feels like I have good communication skills, is because I've been talking about basically the same thing for like 500 days, slightly differently. It evolves a little bit over time, but in general, the exercise on this show has been pretty consistent for 500 days. So what you are seeing is the result of a ton of practice. A ton of practice that has to be real because I still have to say it aloud, right? Like it's not like I'm just cycling through whatever I say in my head and pretending that that's practice. I have to respond, I have to show up, and I have to do it. But I think most people who have done 500 plus days of anything will become pretty good at it. If we had to change the topic that we were communicating about, if it had to be about a subject I was not nearly as brushed up on, maybe I'd still be an okay communicator, but maybe not, because I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't know, and that's not gonna look real good when I'm trying to communicate. Okay, good vibes forever says legs are officially deep fried. Yum. Chicken legs, deep fried, are also good. Sorry, where am I going with this? I haven't had dinner yet. I got back from running an errand pretty late, so I'm kind of hungry. And that was a weird tangent because I just commented about eating chicken legs. All right, Queen R says 100%. Thank you. Amazing. All right, I think that is our YouTube chat. I'm gonna come over to TikTok. TikTok tends to have a little bit more, so I try to go real fast and wrap YouTube. D says, great job, everyone. We did it. Thank you, D. That's so kind. Charles says, have a good night. Good night, good night, good night. And MCV says, feeling good. I will be back. Amazing. Amazing. Che is welcoming Wayfo. Hello, Wayfo. Hasta mañana. Hasta mañana. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Kilmore says, thank you. Che is celebrating like it's my birthday. Che says, story of my life, too. I assume you're talking about starting and quitting and starting and quitting and starting and quitting side splits more times than your age. Does that make sense? Yeah, I said 15 years, twice a year. 30. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's right. Travel with Rice says, true, in response to Chase comment. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh no. Chase says, it'll be funny when he sees this in the chat. I am checking it out. Seems like Che has promised some cat pictures. And, oh, it's so cute. It's a dog, though. It's not cat pictures. Those are dog pictures. Y'all are cute. Thank you for hanging out, building a community outside of whatever random thing that I actually talk about. I appreciate it. I think it's awesome because it means that there are people who care not just about the side splits, the hip mobility, the actions that we're doing, the consistency that we're putting in. It means that people care about hanging out with each other, and I appreciate that because that's awesome. Because it makes everything easier, right? Like if you have a real friend-ish person that you have a connection with, a relationship with, it makes everything a little bit easier. All right, Treth says it's a 20% day, and I think that comment came in towards the middle of the show when we transitioned over to the stretching. So it looks like I'm about halfway through the scrolling. I'll be almost done. Give me a second. For Luma, sends a heart. Thank you, thank you. Che is here. Neek, hello, hello. We got an Ola from Weifo, and I'm scrolling as fast as I can to see if there's any other comments, questions to answer, and if there aren't, I'm gonna scroll right back down. Boom! There we go. Hit the top. All right. What's new? Tressa03 asks, is it common to be sore? If it is one of your first couple of lives, yes, it is very common to be sore because most of the time you're going to be using muscles differently than you would expect. And also, I put you through a lot. All right. For most people, if you were to drop into a hamstring stretch for 30 seconds, you'd probably be like, wee, 30 seconds, 29, 28, and that would be the extent of the stretch. When you do a hamstring stretch with me, especially if it's your first one, we spend a whole ton of time sitting here, breathing, trying to get deeper, trying to figure out how to fold, trying to get deeper, trying to fold, trying to get deeper, trying to fold, trying to get deeper. Even though I counted for 30 seconds per leg, we probably spent like 5 minutes on those two legs. All right. Between setting it up, talking about things, and actually hanging out there and then coming out of it and whatever random things I have to say about like your back being working too hard and all that stuff. Um, a lot of the versions of the stretches that we do have a huge strength component. All right, the standing pancake being one of them. When it is your first time ever doing the standing pancake and you try to go as deep as you can, and these muscles, the inner thighs, the adductors, it's spelled ADDUCTOR, are working really hard to hold you up, but they're also stretched out. First time you do that, they're definitely going to be sore. They're not going to be happy, especially if you had to hold it for as long as I was explaining random stuff to make sure that you had all the possible information you needed to get going. That is highly likely to make you sore. Is there anything else? If you've been sore for like 3 weeks, that's kind of a long time to be sore. You might benefit from taking a day or two off and having a little bit of relaxation and just chilling to see if that helps. If you continue to do a lot every single day, it is not uncommon to be sore, right? I don't know if this exists on your feed, but there are big bros who do leg day like once, twice a week, and every time they're leaving leg day, they're basically stumbling around because their legs don't work. That will be normal if you're doing something very challenging for you. We're not doing so much strength stuff necessarily, but there is a component of strength that for you at your current fitness level could be really, really challenging. And so if you're sore, especially if it's in the early days of you practicing this live, it is definitely normal. But if it continues to go on for weeks and weeks and weeks, you might want to take a little bit of a break. There's also one other thing. If you're feeling a lot of soreness in the hip, it might be related to how much you're rotating the leg when you're doing the side splits. All right. For some people, you might feel like your knee is really pointing up. You've done all the things I've asked, and there might still be a little discomfort in the hip. For some people, you might just need to rotate the leg a little bit further back, and that will help with the stretches. So, what does this have to do with being sore? Some of that discomfort, if it's happening right here in the hip, that might not be soreness, that might just be pain. And it might just be lingering. And one of the ways you can troubleshoot that is to externally rotate the leg a little bit further. Cool? Um, yeah, if anything continues for a really long time, that's probably not normal. But if it's relatively new because you just started, that's probably okay for now. Cool? All right. What else we got? I think that's everything. All right. Live was fast today. We don't have any more comments on YouTube. We don't have any more comments on TikTok. It's time to wrap up. We are 90 minutes deep into the live. I've given the spiel. I hope you guys had fun. Hope you're cooling off now that we've had a couple of minutes to chill. And I hope you feel good because you came in, you practiced a little consistency, and life is good. All right. I'm wrapping up because I'm out of stuff to say. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good vibes forever says, see you tomorrow and have a good night, everyone. Lovely. Amazing. And that's it. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I'm closing out. I will see you all tomorrow.